Another day, another drama with the Prince Estate. If there's one thing the Prince Estate are very good at, it's getting themselves into an absolute legal mess, and here we are again. This time, Apollonia is suing the Prince Estate over the use of her name. Now, at first, a lot of people thought, well, hold on, this isn't her name. Her name's Patricia Cotero. Apollonia was a name she was given for the film. It's based on a name from The Godfather, we believe. However, in this case, it looks as if she may well have a case. Anyway, this is the story as reported on Reuters, which states that actress, singer, and former Prince confidant Patti Cotero, known better as Apollonia, is suing the late rock star's estate in California in federal court on Tuesday, seeking a court order that she owns the right to the Apollonia name. Now, it's interesting that I was quite surprised by this because at first I thought, well, surely the estate owned the name, but apparently they didn't. And this is where it gets quite interesting. Spokesman for Prince's Minnesota property Paisley Park and record label Sony Music did not immediately respond to a request for comment. However, Cotero's attorney said that she fully expects to prevail in protecting her name. Now, this was on Reuters, but I actually found another article on Bloomberg Law. Now, for some reason, Bloomberg Law think this is Apollonia. So top class journalism there. But anyway, basically, the Cotero side have said that the estate has embarked on an aggressive campaign to cancel her trademark registrations and to steal her name, and will not stop in its efforts to acquire all things related to Prince, even though it has no legal right to do so, according to the complaint docketed Tuesday in the US District Court for the Central District of California. The complaint says Cotero has gone by Apollonia for more than 40 years without issue and used the mark to promote her music, sell merchandise, and advertise her podcast. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Cotero received trademark registrations for Apollonia 6 and Apollonia for entertainment goods in 2017 and 2018, the complaint said. Prince's estate, Paisley Park Enterprises LLC, in 2018 allegedly applied for trademark registration of Apollonia 6 for musical goods, but the US Patent and Trademark Office refused registration due to a likelihood of confusion with Cotero's marks. Since the rejection, Cotero claims the Prince estate has filed petitions to cancel her trademarks on the basis that she is not the rightful owner. The cancellation proceedings remain pending, according to the complaint. The interesting thing is here that the state has told that Cotero waived all her rights to the name in agreements executed in 1983 and 84. Even assuming the agreements are valid, Cotero argues they're irrelevant because the statute of limitations expired decades ago and the estate forfeited its rights by not enforcing them. So this is interesting because this is about Apollonia using it for her podcast she does now and for selling merchandise and various things like that. The thing is, the estate spend a lot of money on lawyers, millions and millions, and this looks like a bit of a trend because if you remember a while ago, the Prince estate had forbidden Morris Day and the Time from using their name, and that was interesting. This was a few years ago. Morris Day said that I've given up 40 years of my life building up a name and legacy that Prince and I came up with, a name that while he was alive he had no problem with me using. But then they said that the estate had forbidden him from performing under the name Morris Day and the Time. He said at the time, however, now that the Prince is no longer with us, suddenly the people who control his multi-million-dollar estate want to rewrite history by taking my name away from me, thus impacting how I feed my family. Now, this has also happened with the new power generation, who now have to call themselves We Were the New Power Generation. Now, I don't know if that were the ins and outs of that, but I presume they've been told to do that by the estate. I could be completely wrong, but it does seem interesting that all the people who kind of work with Prince, the estate is trying to bring all those trademarks together, and it's a lot more complicated than that. But the main thing is, what do you think? Do you think that Apollonia and her name should be hers to use for merchandise, for her podcast, for the things she still does, or do you think that it really belongs to Prince and therefore it belongs to the estate now? It's going to be interesting. This is one that will be battled out in court, and no doubt both sides will spend a fair amount of money on the case. So anyway, we will see what the outcome of this is, and we shall watch with despair, because the one thing again, this creates a bad taste sort of between former artists who worked with Prince and the estate, and is this another person who's not going to want to be involved, in future celebrations or part of the Prince celebration if the estate are trying to sue her? This is going to get very interesting and potentially quite messy. So stay tuned. We shall see what happens.